3 years ago, Ethan Callahan, the golden boy of Wall Street, with eyes made of ambition and a heart barricaded by scars, made the most defining and devastating choice of his life. He left. Left the city that praised him, left the woman who loved him, and worst of all, left the child growing silently inside her before ever meeting him. Amelia Clark had been everything he never knew he needed, gentle yet fierce, grounded in truth and unafraid to confront the ghosts that Ethan pretended didn't exist. Their love wasn't born of candlelit dinners and rooftop kisses. It was forged in late-night conversations, long walks through Central Park in winter, and the comfort of quiet presence after chaotic days. But when she stood before him, trembling, but brave, clutching a positive pregnancy test in her hand, and whispering, "We're going to be parents," Ethan's mind collapsed under the weight of inherited fears. Raised by a mother who never recovered from abandonment, and haunted by a father who disappeared without a goodbye, Ethan couldn't bear the idea of becoming another man who ruined a life. So he did what cowards do best. He ran. Not with a dramatic exit or a bitter fight, but with a short, typed letter placed carefully on her kitchen counter. "You deserve someone who isn't broken. I am not him." Amelia read that note with tears that didn't fall and a silence that screamed louder than rage. She didn't chase after him, didn't scream into the void, and didn't let her soul rot with betrayal. Instead, she wrapped her arms around her belly and whispered a new promise into the world. "You will never feel unwanted, not for a second." In the months that followed, while Ethan vanished into private jets, silent penthouses, and soulless boardrooms, Amelia transformed. She endured prenatal appointments alone, felt the first kicks with no one to share them with, and delivered her son with only a nurse's hand in hers. But in those lonely moments, she found power. Noah was born on a rainy morning in March, screaming into the world with the voice of someone meant to be heard. And from that day forward, Amelia refused to live like a victim. She built a life with love, even when love had once abandoned her. She taught literature at a local high school by day and started a support group for single mothers by night, sharing her story not with quiet strength that made others believe in survival. She didn't date, she didn't resent, she simply rose. Meanwhile, Ethan tried to pretend his life was perfect. His bank account grew with every acquisition, every IPO, every calculated risk. His name appeared on Forbes lists and luxury magazine covers, and yet the nights were cold. The women he met were beautiful but empty. Conversations felt rehearsed. And every time he saw a stroller or heard a child laugh, his mind betrayed him with visions of a little boy he had never met. Guilt became a companion that whispered in the spaces between his achievements. And though he never spoke of Amelia again, she lived in his silence. Then came the Gala, the St. Haven Children's Foundation annual gala charity he had been donating to 4 years as a way to polish his image and ease his conscience. He arrived in a custom tuxedo, flanked by assistants and fake smiles, expecting nothing but champagne, applause, and another plaque with his name engraved in gold. But fate had other plans. Midway through the event, the lights dimmed and the MC stepped onto the stage. "Tonight," she announced, "we are honored to welcome a woman whose journey exemplifies strength, dignity, and what it truly means to turn pain into purpose." Ethan raised his glass casually till he heard her name, Amelia Clark. Didn't breathe. The crowd applauded politely as she walked onto the stage, and Ethan felt the earth shift. She was stunning, not in a glamorous, red carpet way, but in a way that silenced the air. She wore a navy gown that floated like moonlight, her hair pinned elegantly, her posture exuding peace that could only come from walking through fire and surviving. But it wasn't just her. Walking beside her, holding her hand tightly, was a little boy with dark, wavy hair and storm-gray Isothen's eyes. Time collapsed. The voices blurred. Ethan couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't deny what his soul already knew. That was his son. The son he had never met. The son he had left behind. Amelia stepped to the podium, her voice calm and steady. 3 years ago, she began, I stood in a very different place, alone, afraid, pregnant, and unsure if I would ever be enough. But my son taught me that love isn't about who stays, it's about who shows up, even when it's hard. She never mentioned Ethan, never alluded to betrayal. She simply spoke of resilience, of the way women build homes from ashes, of how single mothers are not broken, they are warriors. As she spoke, Ethan sat frozen, each word a dagger laced. In grace, each pause a mirror. When the crowd rose in thunderous applause, Ethan did not. He stared at his son, who smiled innocently at the guests, oblivious to the man who had missed his first steps, first words, first everything. When the gala ended and guests mingled under the chandeliers, Ethan walked toward her, legs trembling beneath the weight of shame. Amelia saw him coming, her eyes soft but unreadable. You look different, he managed, voice barely above a whisper. So do you, she replied, glancing briefly at the boy now chasing another child nearby. And your eyes. There was a long silence, heavy. With years lost, I'm sorry, Ethan finally said. For all of it. For leaving. For not being man enough to stay. For missing everything. You can't undo the past, Amelia said, gently but firmly. But maybe you can choose better. For the future. Not for me, for him. Can I be part of his life? He asked, each word trembling with hope and fear. Amelia looked at him for what felt like eternity, then nodded slowly. Start by showing up, one day at a time. No grand gestures, just presence. And that was the beginning of a long, silent redemption. Ethan didn't try to win her back. He didn't send flowers or make speeches. Instead, he showed up at the community center where Noah played chess. He helped him build rockets, listened to him talk about dinosaurs, and asked questions that mattered. It was awkward at first. He didn't know how to braid hair on crazy hair day. Didn't know how to pack a proper lunch. But he learned, slowly, painfully, beautifully. Amelia watched from a distance, guarded but open, allowing space for a relationship that was no longer about them, but about their son. One night, months later, as snow fell softly outside their apartment window, Noah asked Amelia a question. Is he my real dad? She paused, heart aching, then answered, he's the one who gave you those gray eyes. And he's trying every day to be the man you deserve. That matters more than how we started. And it did. Because Ethan never missed another birthday. He showed up to school plays, sat in little chairs at parent-teacher conferences, took Noah to the planetarium and cried silently when his son grabbed his hand during the show. On a blanket under the stars, Noah whispered, I'm glad you're here now. Ethan closed his eyes, overwhelmed. Me too, buddy, too. That night, Amelia stood by the doorway, watching them from the kitchen. She didn't cry, didn't smile. Just stood quietly, knowing life doesn't always give us second chances, but sometimes, when we earn them, they become more beautiful than the first.